Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. Welcome to the pod every Wednesday, back to represent. Two dudes with attitudes, yeah, here comes the main event. Every week it's the dudes from the east and the west, breaking down everything you've seen and the best of the best. Came together on TikTok, hit it off from the jump, now they never gon' stop. Shooting star, PRS, you can hit the follow. My wrestling opinion is someone you should all know, and they call him MWO. Yeah, it's rich on the flow, and I thought you should know. Two dudes in the mood that be dropping the jewels. This is not for the fools, this is just how we do. Talking WWE, no one is touching the team. Cool, calm, collected, the method to be. You can hit the 5 stars when it's time to rate on whatever platforms. Two dudes, get it straight, yeah?
Yeah. What's up? You did it.
I did it. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Only took 81 episodes, but I got
it. You did it. All right. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another amazing episode of Two Dudes with Attitudes, a wrestling podcast. What's up, Two Dudes Wolfpack? As always, I'm the dude of Wrestle Talk, Mr. MWO, and this is our WWE edition. And always with me is the man with the plan, the honorary dude, Mr. Shooting Star Press. What's up, Yeet?
Oh,
what's up, Oos?
Yeet. Yeah, you look 21. Like that, just me since day one. Just me, Oos. Which now I have a partner, but it's not just me, Oos. But
yeah, is he gonna change it? Just me and Cody. Day
Oos.
one is just me and Cody. Day one is.
I don't know what they're doing.
Me neither, but I still wore my purple for a reason. So still wearing my Judgment Day because I don't care because I'm down since day one ish. So
yeah.
All right. Are you ready? We got a busy.
I am.
Like falling everywhere.
I know.
All over the place. You're falling.
Stuff is just coming down.
That's what happens when you're still. So yeah, just like the wrestling right now. But yeah, so we had a popular, busy, some people think successful, some people don't think successful week of wrestling between WWE and AEW. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to skip SmackDown because we have too much things to do. We got Fastlane, we got Raw, we got NXT, we got our segment. Tomorrow, we got AEW with Rampage, Collision, Dynamite. We got the Tuesday night Wars. Who won that? Which we'll talk about tomorrow. So tune in to our AEW episode tomorrow. But as of right now, what we are going to do, actually really, really quick, let's just bring up 1 second. Let's talk about this Triple H thing. So you're a smart man. You follow Dave Meltzer more than I do. What's going on in the Triple H world? He is now head of control officially. And this was after Fastlane. I'm assuming this has to do with Fastlane because that stuff was hot garbage. But what do you think? What's happening here? Just let's go really quick.
Yeah, the rumor is that Triple H has been, what are they saying on the dirt sheets? That he's been knighted by TKO to guide the ship creatively, and that he's making 99.9% of the creative decisions. And that's from PW Insider, so it's those guys. And they're saying that
they're legit.
Yeah, that he this was announced after Fastlane, so I'm assuming they probably saw what happened at Fastlane, and they're like, okay, we got to get Triple H back in charge. But yeah, apparently Vince is no longer in charge. There still may be that tug of war between Triple H and McMahon creatively at times, but the overall belief is that Triple H is the one that will be making the bulk of the decisions when it comes to creative stuff with WWE. So it's like he's running creative, but Vince could still step in when he wants to, if he feels that something he needs to veto something or void something. But for the most part, TKO is giving Triple H full control of the WWE creatively.
Yeah, but I just want to, full control does not mean you can be vetoed. So I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Basically what I'm hearing is that Triple H still has a job, but Vince is still in charge. So
yeah, pretty much.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, it looked like Raw and NXT was a little bit more of Triple H than it was Vince. So maybe we'll see. We'll see what's and Triple H. I mean, SmackDown looks like they're just following in suit as well. We got the return of Roman.
Thank God.
We got Triple H. Yeet. We got just it looks like a pretty stacked show. So we'll see what happens.
It's the season premiere.
Yeah, and speaking of Roman, we'll get into that too. The season premiere. Yeah, so stupid. Then Raw next week. The season premiere of what?
Yeah.
Anyway, when you're a yearly show, there's no premiere.
You don't have seasons. Yeah. They make it perfectly clear to say there's no off season in wrestling, so you can't have a season premiere.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway.
So I don't get it. Yeah. Anyway, all right, let's get into it. Fastlane, you ready? Rum.
Yeah.
Was it is every Fastlane in Indianapolis because they're like Indy? Is that like the whole thing?
I guess.
The
yeah.
racing,
I don't know.
Is that what it was?
I don't know if it's always been in Indy. I don't know, but let me look at when the last time they had it. Let's look at Fastlane 2019. That's the first thing that comes up on Google. No, that one was in Cleveland. So I think. So I don't know.
It just worked anyway. Well, I know a lot of you. There was 5 matches. It only ran about 2 hours and 40 minutes. I think I had stated before at the last PLE that whenever it is not stacked and it's, kind of doesn't look like it's going to be a banger of a show, usually I think it's going to be better then, right? I feel like overachieved and they got to make up for it, right? That's why they don't have a lot of stuff going on and this and that and big people. But I have to say, I thought it was actually a pretty awfully booked show. It could just be me, but that's what I think. So picking highs and picking lows was a little bit difficult. So number one, let's go with it. I'm going to do my high, and this is my only high of the night. So sorry, all you Fastlane fans out there. My only high is Io Sky retains. I thought we could have had no title changes on this card. I didn't think it was a card that was worth it. I think they did it so they can kind of make up for the fact that it was lacking things. But yeah, Io Sky retaining was my thing. I think it's the right call. I was afraid that they were going to give it to Charlotte or even Asuka since she was going to be on NXT. Maybe they're going to do that. But Io Sky needs to cook. She needs to let it cook. I think we might be building still to her and Bayley at some point, which I hope not. It looked like they were on the same page after this. But she told Bayley not to interfere and yada, yada, yada. So we'll see what happens. But either way, how they got there, I like that she won. Even with my one high, I still had some lows. I felt like this match was all about Charlotte. She kind of headlined everything. She was the main attraction. She got the tap, but didn't win because someone didn't see it and blah, 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 and this and that. So obviously this looks like Charlotte's probably going to take it from Io Sky one day. I mean, they always got to have Charlotte involved. I don't understand. You got an abundance of women who are talented here. Let Io Sky run it until Rumble. Let her run it a little bit longer. We don't need Charlotte Flair always in the title hunt. But other than that, she won. And this was actually the only booking that I thought wasn't awful on the card. So what say you? What do you think?
Yeah, I thought the whole event was, I texted you. I was like, Fastlane was not good at all last night. And this was my high as well, was this match. This was the only good match that I enjoyed. This was the only match that the outcome made sense. I'm glad Io Sky retained. I'm glad that she gets, I predicted that Charlotte Flair was going to win because it's Charlotte Flair and she's got to have a title. So I'm actually glad that I was glad to be wrong for once in my life when it comes to wrestling predictions, because I did pick Charlotte Flair to win, but I was okay with this outcome.
Yeah. So. Me too. I agree.
And like you, man, I couldn't find too many highs. I really couldn't. We try, but really nothing happened on this show that was worth anything. And I will say that my high, I guess, is the wrestling from the event. I thought the wrestling was all good. I thought, despite the outcome of the Judgment Day and Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, I thought the match was really good. I thought the wrestling and the triple threat between the 3 women was fantastic. I thought Seth Rollins and Shinsuke was really good. I thought that John Cena and LA Knight and the Bloodline was meh. It was okay. It was more storytelling than anything than actual in-ring action. But yeah, I thought for the most part, I think the wrestling on the event was decent. I thought everybody brought their A games when it comes to wrestling.
I agree with you there, and not liking the booking doesn't mean you don't like the wrestling, right? I just like even Shinsuke and Seth. I thought that was a phenomenal match, but I didn't like the end. I didn't like
the
that
ending was
Seth.
not good.
The Seth kicked out of like 75 moves and devastating things, and Shinsuke got one off the table and couldn't get up. I just thought it was kind of weird booking, and no Damian cash in. It was just not even an attempt, not even going against Rhea and coming out and trying to, and it getting like messed up. I don't know. I like you said, the wrestling was fantastic. And with that said, let's talk about my low. Are you ready? Because even though the wrestling was good, booking not so much. And that is the Judgment Day dropping the titles. And I've had now almost a week to wrap my head around this. I've had Raw, which didn't help me wrap my head around it. Of why we would have the Judgment Day drop the tag team titles to Cody and Jey. So here's where I was thinking beforehand, right? We have the Judgment Day Patrick, what's good? The first time tag partners winning the championship is the dumbest thing. 100. And here's another dumb thing. Okay. Cody is here to finish the story, meaning winning the World Heavyweight Championship. And I'll get into that on Raw as well, but winning the Heavyweight Championship. Jey just left the Bloodline and his brother as one of the greatest tag teams of all time to go solo. And like you said earlier, his music is literally it's all about being you. It's just me, Oos. It's just me, Oos.
Day one-ish.
Yeah. And now all of a sudden they're tagging together to win the tag team titles against the Judgment Day. Right, B-Roll? What's up, my dude?
B-Roll was at Fastlane.
Oh, B-Roll, I'm so sorry. Hopefully those tickets were cheap. Yeet. But I'm sure watching it live, he appreciated it more. Live's always better, unless we went to that Monday Night Raw after Mania. Nothing
that was bad.
That. But I just, once again, the show and entertainment was good. It was the outcomes I didn't like. And this is the only way, in theory, I have for this to make sense at all. B-Roll was not at Fastlane.
Oh, I thought you were. I'm sorry. I thought you were at Fastlane.
I thought B-Roll was everywhere. You know where he's not going to be? He's not going to be at the one we're going to, Full Gear. He was supposed to. Get with it, B-Roll. But yeah, so this is the only way, okay? You ready? Hear me out. This is what I think, right? I think this has to do, and this is what they're doing. Cody brought over Jey, and he shouldn't have, right? Because he has his beef with Roman, right? Roman is coming back on Friday, finally, right? So we had the Judgment Day who wanted to pair up with the Bloodline. Don't even get me started on that. Why on Friday night are you talking about pairing up and then neither team helps each other win?
No,
they
nothing.
Both have nowhere. They don't even come out to either match because you had Solo and Jimmy lose to John Cena and LA Knight. Like what the? John couldn't take a pin there, couldn't take an L. And then you had the Judgment Day losing to Jey. So what I think is going to go on is I think Roman's going to run his mouth on Friday. This is just for Roman to have ammo. He's going to come out I texted you this on Friday tomorrow and talk about how Solo and Paul and Jimmy, you ain't done nothing since I left. I've been gone for 2 months. Y'all bringing down the bloodline. Jey quit. He's over there winning tag team titles with our arch enemy, Cody Rhodes. And then you want to pair up with the Judgment Day who can't even keep the tag team titles. You guys are a bunch of scrubs and blah, blah, blah. And Roman's the best and yada, yada, yada. But I also think this is going to lead to a betrayal. I think Jey is going to betray Cody Rhodes. Cody's dad, Dusty, always got betrayed by Flair and other people. Always got betrayed. I think Cody is going to be betrayed by Jey Uso, thus leading Jey back to the bloodline by the time Mania hits, thus leading to Cody Rhodes. So that's the only way I can see any of this make sense. Here's my issue, though. You could have done all of this without them winning the tag team titles. So that's my only thing is that Judgment Day needs it now. They have till Monday to regroup. Maybe on Monday, Judgment Day will win it back, and that'll be the start. We'll see. But what do you think? What can you make sense of this? Because they don't even look like a. And then they're out drunk at the press. I don't know. It's just a hot flipping mess.
And they lost because of JD McDonough. It's not even like there was like they're teasing Finn Balor and Damian Priest having beef with each other again.
Finn was anti JD on Raw.
Yeah. Yeah,
and told him to get the F out. Yeah,
like people were pissed, and rightfully so. So, yeah, this makes no sense. I kind of like your idea of it leading to Cody getting betrayed by Jey and getting Jey back to the bloodline. But I just have this. But then the WrestleMania match should then be Cody versus Jey and not Cody versus Roman. So that's the only thing I see there. But I don't know. This outcome just made no sense. There's no Judgment Day winning. Like, they just won the tag titles. Now you're playing hot potato with them less than a month after they won. Judgment Day was cooking. Judgment Day had they were all held gold. They were dominating Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, and they had a reason to go to SmackDown because they had both of the Undisputed Championships. And now this outcome made no sense. It does not make any sense, and I cannot fathom why they did this.
Well, I jinxed them too, because every time I say the Judgment Day is not going to, like, they're hot again, Triple H says, hold my beer, and they lose. I once again was like, finally, we got them hot again. They're all on the same page. Bloop. And really quick, I see in the comments, B-Roll talked about how yet JD still showed up on NXT. B-Roll, if you're not listening to Two Dudes podcast every week, we always say NXT is a whole different universe. You didn't see Cody with the tag team titles or bring up his tag team. It's a whole different universe.
Considering
NXT
announced
on
the
SmackDown
tag
don't
team
exist.
tournament too.
Yeah, the tag team. Yeah, they don't exist. Whatever happens on Raw, SmackDown, NXT is an illusion. But anyway, yes, good points. Good points, my man. Good points.
So my low, you kind of hinted at it, and B-Roll's in the comments doing it, but I'm gonna say it's the post-show press conference. I thought the whole post-show press conference was atrocious, and Jey Uso.
That's an unpopular opinion. Hint, hint.
Yeah, I know. I thought about it, but Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso were clearly inebriated at the press conference, and like it was funny. Sure, was it cute? Yes. Was it funny? Sure. But at the same time, it's also hard for me to, and maybe I'm the old man, maybe I'm the curmudgeon, maybe I'm Mr. No Fun, but it's hard for me to laugh at that kind of stuff, knowing that Jey Uso has had problems with alcohol in the past. He's been arrested for DWIs and DUIs, Jimmy too. So I don't know. I kind of feel in this day and age of social media, in this day and age of, what happened with Jeff Hardy and what happened with, Bray Wyatt recently, and what happened with, all these wrestlers that are passing away all of a sudden, I kind of feel weird just laughing at some people's demons and some people's struggles. So I thought, was it funny? Sure. Was it cute? Yes. But at the same time, I also feel like Triple H should have stepped up and gotten involved and said, look, I didn't know they were drunk. I'm sorry. That won't happen again. And then chastise them after the show. But it kind of felt like Triple H was encouraging it. He came out to the press conference and was saying yeet, yeet, yeet himself, and everybody was laughing and having a good time. So maybe that's just me, but that's not the only part of the press conference I didn't like. I also didn't care for some of the questions that were asked by the wrestling journalists. Somebody asked about Io Sky about wrestling Taylor Swift at WrestleMania, because we have all the Swifties taking over the NFL now. So with Travis Kelce, so now they have to take over the WWE, because it's just got to be at WWE. And even Io Sky looked really caught off guard. Bayley was there. She was caught off guard by the question. It was just a weird question to ask at that moment. It was like one of the first questions they asked her too. It wasn't even like, hey, how do you feel after your big win tonight? It was just, hey, you think you're going to wrestle Taylor Swift at WrestleMania? Like, what kind of question was that? That's really, that was a stupid question. And then somebody asked John Cena a question he's answered 150 times about his relationship with The Rock. And do you feel like you owe The Rock an apology after, you've become what he was? And that's, you're no longer here. And you're kind of the guy that never shows up anymore. And John Cena even looked flabbergasted. He was like, I've answered this question a bunch of times, but here, I'll answer it one more time. I was wrong. I owed The Rock an apology, And then the big highlight for that to me was that John Cena basically admitted that he's only there for the money, and that when the writer's strike or the actor's strike is over, because the writer's strike is over, but when the actor's strike ends, they were in the middle of a production of something he was working on, so they were right slap in the middle. That's why he hasn't cut his hair. That's why because he had it for this movie, I think, or whatever he's working on. And so he's going to have to go right back to it as soon as it's over. So that could be tomorrow, which means we don't get John Cena on WWE TV anymore. That could be WrestleMania. We don't know. But he basically said that as soon as this is over, as soon as the strike is over, he's going right back to work, and it's going to pull him away from the WWE. And there's just some of the questions and just the whole atmosphere of the press conference, I thought was, I just didn't like it. It was probably the worst one I've seen. And normally I enjoy the WWE press conferences.
Well, here, that's what I want to talk about. But don't worry, because John Cena just beat two up-and-comers in Solo and Jimmy, who are trying to establish themselves. So if he disappears tomorrow, it was all worth it. Here's the thing.
Of course,
right? Here's the thing. I agree with everything you said about the alcoholism and this and that. And like, I don't mind having a good drink with me every once in a while. Shoot, we've done a couple of our live watch buys, and I was getting a little bit drunk. But I also wasn't, flirting with women and saying provocative things. And I also wasn't being paid at a press conference afterwards. And here's my biggest issue with it on top of that, right? And this is what I don't like, is that AEW, right, has gotten so much flack for their press conferences for multiple reasons. One, letting the wrestlers act amok and being stupid, whether that be CM Punk, whether that be MJF going off cuff, whether that be whatever happens. And then the other part is, how unprofessional it is, but the other part is how TK doesn't say anything, that he's standing there looking like an idiot and allowing his wrestlers to do what he wants. So what is all the WWE nut huggers? Because we're not any nut huggers on this show. We are equal to both. I've watched WWE longer, but I watch every single program. I'm going to Full Gear. I've been to every single AEW show that's been out here. I'm in the middle. So somewhat biased opinion on both of a non-biased opinion. But the nut huggers have always said, well, these press conferences are better because it's more professional. Triple H has been more professional. The wrestlers have been more. They treat it like an actual press conference. Well, here we went, and there we go, because no longer is it that. It is no longer that. They have officially moved on from that. I didn't like it at all. And I think, like what you said about Triple H, he should have come out and said, look, our bad. I didn't. You could even make a little bit of a joke if you want, but saying, I apologize. I didn't know my wrestlers were celebrating a little bit too hard before the press conference. They didn't know it was coming. The end. They will be talked to when I get done with this. At least to stay face. He just took it, didn't even apologize, encouraged it. The questions were atrocious. I don't give two shits about Taylor Swift. The NFL world doesn't give two shits about Taylor Swift. So why bring it to WWE? WWE and NFL are two different things. Why, once again, I've always made fun of wrestling journalism because there's very few. Most of these people are just idiots. So Dave Meltzer. So, Brian Alvarez. You don't believe me about Brian Alvarez? Dave Meltzer's, little boy toy on the side because they run the same little stupid thing that whatever they
Wrestling
they do.
Observer. Yeah.
Wrestling Observer. Christian, we didn't talk about, ripped Brian Alvarez in front of his damn face, calling him a mark. Talking about, have you wrestled? What kind of stars are you going to give me? I loved it. Like, this is like how wrestlers feel about these stupid people. Ask real questions. Yeah, well, they weren't trying to ask real questions to Cody and Jey. They were just too drunk.
And I do think there's a fine line too, because I kind of think that some of these journalists, you could tell that were asking questions, have not been watching the WWE. Mm-hmm. And so, like, some of them were from like Entertainment Weekly, and some of them were from E, and some of them were from Rolling Stone magazine, I'm sure, and some other places. And I'm sure that's because of John Cena and some of the Hollywood effect. But then those are the ones asking the Taylor Swift questions, because we got to have pop culture in wrestling. And those are the ones asking about The Rock and John Cena when not knowing that he's answered that question 100 times. So, I just thought the whole thing was atrocious.
And we need to move on to Raw, but I want to say, because I'm seeing B-Roll's comments here about why Cody and Jey should be the tag team champs. I get what he's saying, but I don't agree. Like I said, you can get to that story too. If you think that's where it's going and he's going to guide him to beating Roman, although Jey couldn't beat Roman, so I don't know what kind of guiding he would have. But they do not need to be tag team champs. And once again, I think it hurts Judgment Day, because now Finn doesn't have a belt. Damian is having a briefcase he does nothing with. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. Judgment Day was looking good, all wrapped in gold, and they had that for 1 week. All right, let's get into Raw. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Raw was a step up. I think a lot of people liked Raw and NXT. I think a lot of people were high on them. I'm going to talk about things I were high on and wasn't high on. But surprisingly enough, something I was high on, because I got high, was Nia Jax and Raquel Rodriguez. Not the match. The match was whatever. Raquel looks a little sloppy and out of shape right now. I don't know. Was she injured or something? I don't know. She just looks a little meh right now. And their match was whatever. But I'm talking about the ending of the match. So they had their match. They're going to it. All of a sudden, out comes Rhea Ripley to kind of put a work on Nia Jax. And as she's beating down Nia Jax as a no DQ, they end it off. And here comes, that's why scripted fans like you guys. Oh, 100%. But so Nia Jax comes out, takes this, Rhea Ripley comes out, putting the beat down. And what I loved about it was that then came Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler comes out and puts the beat down on Rhea and stands tall with Nia Jax running away. So you have Rhea the champ on the ground, Raquel on the ground, Nia Jax backtracking, and now you've established Shayna Baszler again, which you took away when Nia was beating everybody up. So am I for Nia Jax's return? No. Do I think she's a positive? No. But hear me out. Hear me out. This is the most fun women's wrestling has been on Raw in a long time. You got a lot of people here, a lot of heavy hitters. You got Raquel, you got Nia, you got Rhea. Shayna, even though not as big, is a real fighter. So you have that same threat. So you got 4 girls here who can all be, it's believable that they can all beat each other. So you have that going for you. You have just established 3 contenders for Rhea Ripley in the future, which she hasn't had since ever. And with that said, I think once she beats Nia Jax, that's going to be a good look on her as well. So I think all of this is kind of working right now. And I really felt this kind of crazy, hectic ending to that 7-minute match.
Yeah, I thought I haven't been feeling this until this week. And we've been very, very high on Shayna Baszler. And now she's finally, ever since that Ronda stuff got past her, she got past the Ronda match at SummerSlam, and she kind of disappeared a little bit, and now she's back. And what a good way for her to come back and get right into that women's title picture. And she has the match with Rhea Ripley coming up. She's got a match. There's going to be the thing with Nia Jax. So yeah, I'm all for a Shayna Baszler push. I think what Rhea Ripley needs is legit and realistic competitors for the women's championship. She had the little feud there with Zelina Vega, which that ended quickly. She had the little thing with Natalya, which ended quickly. She hasn't really had, and then she had the match, a good feud, pretty solid feud, I guess, with Raquel Rodriguez, but she really hasn't had a legit opponent. And I think Shayna Baszler could be that first one. I think Nia Jax is up there. I think Raquel Rodriguez can earn her way back up there. There's also what Becky Lynch is doing with the NXT Championship. She could elevate some of those up-and-coming women, like Tegan Knox could go after Rhea Ripley here in the near future. And, Tiffany Stratton, if they ever call her up, I think she'd be a good foil for Rhea Ripley. So, yeah, women's wrestling right now is on fire in the WWE.
Yeah. And don't forget about Io Sky.
Yeah,
really
Io
quick,
Sky
so I don't know if you want to pop up this last B-roll comment. Don't worry, B-roll, we got you covered. We'll let you know all the important stuff that happened on Monday Night Raw. You don't even got to watch it now. All right.
Yeah.
You're up, bro.
All right. So one of the things that I kind of liked, but I also kind of thought was meh on Monday Night Raw was Drew McIntyre coming out. And first Seth Rollins came out, and Seth Rollins looked like he was talking. He came out looking serious. He came out, he got a pretty solid, a serious promo, made it look like he was going to relinquish the championship. He was like, my back and everything. And unfortunately for you guys, I am going to be champion forever, baby, or something like that. And kind of did the Adam Cole tease when Adam Cole came back to Dynamite a few months ago and made it look like he was going to retire or something, and he didn't. Seth Rollins came out, and as soon as he did that, out came Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre basically said that he's next in line and he wants a shot at Crown Jewel for the World Heavyweight Championship. And so what a cool moment that was, right? Drew McIntyre, the man that's slowly, I guess, turning heel. He's had feuds. He's had problems with Jey Uso, even though he won't settle that in the ring. Like, settle it in the ring. Like, have a match there's a match at Fastlane. Like, have Drew McIntyre versus Jey Uso or something. But no. But and then, so I thought that was cool. We have November 4th is the date of Crown Jewel, so we have a little bit of time to build for that. So I'm curious to see what they do. And then this is where it kind of lost me. So the night before at Fastlane, or Saturday before, Rhea Ripley told Damian Priest not to cash in his Money in the Bank contract on Seth Rollins because it's not time. So Damian Priest then comes out after Seth Rollins promo and he attacks Seth Rollins. He attacks Seth Rollins from behind, takes him out, and then out comes Dominic Mysterio carrying the briefcase only for Drew McIntyre to clothesline him while he's carrying the briefcase at the top of the ramp. And so they thought that was the right time to cash in for Money in the Bank. And they made it seem like they were going to tease that he was going to cash in on Seth Rollins. And I would have been all for it. I would have been all about it. Like, okay, you drop the tag titles, you cash in Money in the Bank, and now that you're the world champion, like, okay, I still don't like the outcome, but I'm okay with that if it leads to a world title match with Damian Priest. But yeah, but then Drew McIntyre stopped it, and he said that he doesn't stick his nose in his business anymore, and we have a match at Crown Jewel, and so Judgment Day was sticking their nose in my business, and that was interfering. So yeah, I had to put a stop to it. But yeah, you could just wrestle Damian Priest instead. But anyway, I thought the whole thing was just kind of dumb. Why Dominic had the briefcase over there when Damian Priest is right here with the referee? Like that whole thing didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense. But I'm all for Drew McIntyre getting a push and curious to see what happens with Seth Rollins because I think it's time for Seth to drop the title.
Yeah, and once again, we're back in my thing that I was stating earlier about the illusion of the differences. When Dom is on Raw, for some reason, he's the punching bag. And then he's on NXT out here, a killer and threatening people. Even when he loses, it was a close, dominant match. He looked good. He's like punking people in the backstage. But on Raw, he just gets pushed around and bullied. Yeah, I feel you. And the dumbest thing I thought about all this, too, was that I didn't know you technically had to hand the briefcase to the ref. Couldn't he have just said, hey, ref, you see the briefcase? I'm freaking cashing in. Like, it's not like they signed the contract inside of it. Like, you literally could have still done it. And we talked before we got on, too, was that Rhea Ripley literally the night before or 2 nights before when Seth was at his all-time beat up was like, not right now. We need to wait. And that later date is 48 hours from now at Raw when he's completely healthy and healed up a little bit. I didn't get any of it. I thought it was stupid. Once again, what are we doing with Judgment Day? Let's not do this whole like Damian Priest fake cashing in and then doesn't cash in, because if that happens, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't want to say because it's probably going to happen. But anyway, yes, I agree with you fully. But you got nothing going on with Drew right now. I don't mind Drew and Seth wrestling. I think it's a good little matchup. They look exactly alike. I was watching it with a friend who doesn't watch wrestling, and she was like, huh? What's the difference between, like, they look exactly the same. I'm like, yeah, it's just like a bigger, buffer version and a smaller version who dresses like his wife. That's basically the only differences between them. But the beard, facial hair, like everything about them, skin tone, it's like literally the same exact person. But yeah, different accents. So, but let's get into one. I got my other thing that I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about, well, here you go. What do you guys want to talk about? What do y'all want to talk about? He changes it every time. You can't change your
I know.
mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That would be like Stone Cold being like, hey guys, what do you want to give me? A hell yeah. Hey guys, see, but he also says, guys, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah. Or what do you guys want to talk about? Yeah.
What do you guys want to talk about? Yeah. It's so stupid. But anyway, what I want to talk about, Cody Rhodes, is the fact that you couldn't answer a question. And what I'm referring to is Cody Rhodes came out, when Jey Uso, what did I call him? Jey Uso, and they came out to talk about their tag team title victory. And Michael Cole did the question that everybody had on their minds. Michael Cole asked, you winning the tag team titles with Jey Uso, how does this finish your story? And even Cody Rhodes couldn't answer that question.
Oh.
Now let me break it up to y'all right now. Just so you guys know out there, anybody who's on here, we got quite a few people on here. Wrestling is scripted, meaning the outcomes are predetermined. No. They are predetermined. It's not fake. It's real. They hit each other. They go out. I love it. But it is predetermined. So we knew beforehand that Cody and them were going to win. That's what the writers did. So if you're going to do that, won't you kind of have a plan on for him to answer it? He didn't even like start his answer. He didn't be like, well, like doing Brie Roll's approach. Well, I thought it'd be good that if I took Roman's right and then get interrupted. No, he stuttered, talked about something else, and then got interrupted because then Michael had asked him the question again. He was like, no, Cody, How does this finish your story, you moron? Like, I'm asking you a question. So that just proves and defends my logic on why they shouldn't have won the tag team titles, because they don't even know what the hell for. They did this, and I was saving this once again because they knew this card was going to suck. They knew it was going to be a quick night, so they wanted to start off the night with a happiness so the crowd would be into it. What better way than having Cody and Jey winning the tag team titles so the crowd could have a big pop, Judgment Day loses, and then we could forget about the rest of the night. So I think it was all planned, and they did it just for that reason. I guarantee this was an audible. I guarantee this was decided right before they came out. I truly feel that way. I think this was just for one pop because they had nothing else going on in that card that was going to send anybody home happy. So that's just my opinion, but I just didn't like that. You can't even answer the question, dude. Come on, give us and it's not even like he was like, in time, my friends, in time. No. He just couldn't answer it. He dodged the question, and then that just is very, I don't know. I don't think it's like a mystery or leading to who's getting drafted to SmackDown. No, I think that was just, they don't have any idea why he has a tag team title. So
yeah. And what's up with Michael Cole? Michael Cole's been going at people pretty hard recently with, you talk about hard hitting journalism questions. He asked Seth Rollins a few weeks ago about some people say you're a puppeteer and you're just a puppet. And and then this week he's going at Cody Rhodes. Like, some people are going to say, is it because you're scared? Is it because you're like, it was like, what is up with heel Michael Cole? I'm all for it. Like, I like this hard hitting Michael Cole asking questions that we all want answers to. And
more match. One more. He's had one at Mania. He's 1-0, baby.
He's undefeated. He likes
to
point that out. He likes to point that out any chance he gets that he's undefeated at WrestleMania. But yeah, I don't know what they're doing with Cody, and I still don't understand why they had to take the belts off the Judgment Day. And if that's the case, if it was a last-minute decision like that, then that tells you all you need to know about the current WWE product right now. They have no plans for anything. They have no real long-term, we talk about long-term storytelling. It seems like they're flying by the seat of their pants each week right now. And they need to get back to figuring, like, they should have the WrestleMania card planned out now. So we can get there instead of just being like, oh yeah, we'll get there after WrestleMania or after the Royal Rumble. We'll talk about WrestleMania. Like, let's have it all planned out now.
And we will get there because we're going to go there. And it seems like B-roll is too. So
yeah, we're going to be at 40. So everyone be on the lookout for us. I'm going to change it up because I was going to talk about Sami Zayn, but I'm going to save that for my segment with the unpopular opinion. But because I just forgot about Bronson Reed. Why is he going after Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship? Like,
thank you.
What are we doing? Like, so Bronson Reed won a triple threat against Chad Gable and who was it was Ricochet. And Ricochet's now somehow involved in a feud with Shinsuke Nakamura, which, I mean, that can kind of, they've been teasing it a little bit, but it really came to, where was Ricochet when Seth Rollins needed him at Fastlane? Where was Ricochet when Seth Rollins was getting tormented by Shinsuke? He's kind of on the sidelines. Then all of a sudden, oh yeah, you're not the champion, so let me go after you now. And then but Bronson Reed pinned. He won the triple threat, and he's now the number one contender for Gunther's Intercontinental Championship. And so next, I guess that match, who knows when they're going to have it? Is it next week on Raw on the season premiere? Or is it going to be at some B-list pay-per-view? Is it going to be at Crown Jewel? Who knows? But whenever they have this match, it's going to be two meaty men slapping meat, apparently. And I don't know. Chad Gable keeps losing number one contendership matches. He lost to Ciampa a few weeks ago. Now he's losing to Bronson Reed, of all people. Bronson Reed's not going to win the IC title. So why do they even do that? I don't understand this. I don't get it.
So I haven't gotten Bronson Reed since he was patched onto WWE a little while ago. I don't get it. I don't get him. I think for a big man, he reminds me of Keith Lee. And by that, I mean, meh. He just isn't he's athletic. Sure. Obviously he's a professional athlete, but other than that, he doesn't really do much. His high flying move is like he just jumps in the air and lands. It's not, they make it look like it's so impressive. Every time he gets up, they're like, "Oh, are you ready?" That's like a move I could do right now in my 42-year-old age of never practicing wrestling. I can literally get on the rope and do a splash. It's not even impressive. He does 1-2 where he jumps off the side of the apron and he just kind of like hits them. He doesn't like flip or anything. He just kind of like bumps into that. He's just, yawn. His mic skills, and I'm not trying to dog him as a human. I think he's a great guy, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But just in wrestling terms, he is meh, meh, meh. The only reason I can see this happening, you ready? One, maybe they want big, meaty men slapping meat. But secondly, it looks like Imperium is fading away from Gunther. I don't know. They had a solo vid this week of Homeboy, of Kaiser.
Ludwig Kaiser,
yeah. And I mean, Kaiser's money, but they had their own little thing with Kaiser.
They beat down Ciampa and Gargano.
Yeah. Hear me out. Ain't nobody going to cheer for this. What's his name? I just forgot it already. No one's going to cheer for Bronson Reed to beat Gunther, right? So hear me out. Are they turning Gunther face before he loses his IC title and moves on? Is that what we're doing here? Are we going to organically put him against some heels? Because it's heel on heel. Are we going to put him against a heel to kind of start getting the crowd to cheer for him so he could become this like forced, organically pushed babyface in the future? So maybe he can go against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40.
Maybe.
Just throwing it out there, y'all. Let it cook. You heard it here first. I'm sure other people will copy it, and then I'm gonna start marking things from my receipts. I'm so sick of talking to these people steal everybody's ideas. Yeah, but yeah,
take it and run with it. I don't know. I don't know if I want a Gunther face turn. I feel like he's so good as a heel, in that when somebody like Chad,
if you keep him the same, they've kept MJF the same. Keep him the same.
That's true. But then it kind of does it lessen the moment when Chad Gable, of all people, the underdog, overcomes everything and takes the IC title off of Gunther. Does it kind of, because it's now face versus face? I don't know. I'm just saying, whoever beats him, whoever finally takes that belt off of him, is it going to weaken that moment if Gunther's a babyface? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do.
But here's the thing: if you just have them both going and no one's going to try to turn babyface, and it's going to be a no crowd reaction. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I agree.
People like big meaty men, but this isn't an AEW crowd where they're all like hands in their pants for Rusev and for Miro and for
Powerhouse Hobbs.
Powerhouse Hobbs. They're not going to do that. WWE crowds are built different,
and those guys are better than Bronson Reed anyway.
100%. And Bronson Reed ain't going to be slapping Gunther back, so it's not going to. I don't know. I'm not all for it at all, and I thought this was a good chance for Chad Gable to kind of maybe take that IC title off of him, but it is what it is. We shall see what happens. But all right, let's move on to the show that everybody's talking about. Now, I'd like to give a disclaimer. Number one, we are going to talk about the Tuesday Night War. I'm doing the air quotes tomorrow, so we're not going to talk about it today. So all you fans in the comments, I'll hit us up yet. Watch tomorrow's show. But I want to give a disclaimer. Okay, really quick. I enjoyed the show. I thought it was fun. I thought it was entertaining. I like that we got to see all these oldies, come back, and LA Knight being a referee, but not in a referee uniform. He was dressed like Beetlejuice. I don't understand. we had some fun moments. Yes, we did. But this is not what I want from NXT, and this is not what I want from television. I like stories. So with that said, my thing today is talking about the randomness of NXT. And what that means is that we had Cody come out. He had an announcement.
Major announcement.
Yeah. And when he said it about him and he made that, and then he said major announcements, the crowd blew the F up. And what did he announce? A men's up and coming breakout star tournament, and his father's tag team tournament. Once he passed away, they've dedicated it to him, which is phenomenal. That's what he announced.
Oh, and he's the guest GM for the night.
Oh,
Shawn Michaels appointed him as guest general manager so he can make matches and have authority.
Even though he was there. So I don't understand that. Why did John Cena have airtime? John Cena came out and literally talked about nothing. Didn't push an NXT star. He just literally rambled on, which he does it was the same. I feel like John Cena now has one speech, and he just, add in city, add in wrestler who I'm pairing with, add in, whatever. It's copy and paste junk. It was stupid, a waste of my time. And he was already going to corner someone. Why did he need announcing time? Push a star on NXT. Why did Paul Heyman corner Braun Breaker? I never got it. He talked to him in the back, but what was the point? He's not getting him in the bloodline. I don't understand what was going on there. Why did LA Knight need to ref? Is he that big right now that you thought we were going to bring in ratings by having LA Knight come out dressed up like Beetlejuice to referee a match?
Yeah.
Unannounced. And speaking of unannounced, why the hell did we need Undertaker to come out and fight for his badass gimmick, which he hasn't used since the 90s, maybe early 2000s, to beat up Braun Breaker? I don't get it. So here's my thing, right? I am all for the randomness, and I think it was a fun show. It was entertaining. But like you mentioned, this show did a certain amount of ratings, which we'll talk about tomorrow. How many people could continue to tune in? So what you need to do is that you bring in these stars not to be dominant. You don't bring in these stars to look better than the NXT stars. You bring in these people to give the rub. Undertaker beating the snot out of Braun Breaker and leaving him there lifeless is not a rub. I don't care what. Fight me on it. Everybody on TikTok, find me. I'll give you my address, my phone number. You have my @ on TikTok. Prove to me any way that makes sense other than, well, he shared a ring with Undertaker. No. How does that make anybody think Braun Breaker is now better or tuning into next week? Who's going to be like, I can't wait to tune in the next week? Braun Breaker got his ass kicked. Now what is he going to do? He lost and got beat up by The Undertaker. How did that push anybody? How did LA Knight refereeing help at all? He didn't interfere. He didn't kind of put in the work to, he actually put his finisher move on someone from Judgment Day. I forgot who it was. JD? I forgot who it was.
Yeah, I think it was JD,
But other than interfering and not caring, what did that push any story, anything? Nothing.
It was random too.
Nothing.
He hasn't even been feuding with the Judgment Day. Yeah.
The randomness. Cody Rhodes coming out. At least he did push the NXT product. I'll give him that. But don't tease announcements like if they're his announcements. Like we're finding an event, talk about him finishing his story when it's just about what's happening on NXT. And Paul Heyman. We did have one thing with Paul Heyman. I'll give him that. There's two things out of the randomness that did happen. One, Paul Heyman was talking to Ava Reigns about joining the Bloodline. That was a plus. And to all you haters out there who have been attacking me on TikTok, and I mean attack, talking about how stupid I am, Jade Cargill showed up backstage at NXT and talked with Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels basically told her, we got big plans for you, girl. Like I said, Jade Cargill ain't ready for Raw and SmackDown. She's going to come to NXT. She's going to work on her craft for 3 months, defeat Becky Lynch, be the NXT Women's Champion, as I stated, day one, and she's going to then carry on and move on to Raw and SmackDown, which needs to, just because you're a big name and a big star. And another thing, too, Jade Cargill right now, I just want to say this, is being pushed better than any WWE star who's ever gone to AEW, and she hasn't even wrestled yet. I'm done with my rant. But I did like the show. I'm just saying the show needs to be more for the purpose of storyline than just attractions.
Yeah, I had a problem with Asuka beating Roxanne Perez.
There's another one. I forgot about that one.
I know that Asuka's undefeated in NXT. She's never lost. And so, but yeah, what an opportunity to give someone a rub by beating the former women's champion, multiple-time women's champion, Royal Rumble winner, WrestleMania participant. Let Roxanne get a huge win over her. And why did you talk about randomness? We had a random, the booking of the random title match between Dominic Mysterio and Ilya Dragunov made no sense either. Cody Rhodes, you're the GM for the night, and Judgment Day's really been a thorn in your side on Monday Night Raw. So why not A, ban Judgment Day from ringside? But no, you didn't do that. And B, why didn't you say, hey, Dom, put your North American Championship on the line as well? Really stack the odds against the team that's been giving him a run for his money. But no, he decided that it needed a referee, and it was LA Knight, who's had nothing to do with the Judgment Day except for a beatdown on SmackDown last week. But yeah, there's the randomness. I wasn't a big fan of it. It kind of felt like the stars overshadowed the talent that were supposed 100%. To be featured. And one thing I did like though was the Brian Pillman Jr. vignette that they showed.
Finally.
Yeah. And I think that other than his haircut, I think it's going to be
he dyed his beard black and his hair black. What was
the edge of his hair black and the rest of his hair is blonde.
He dyed the front black and his beard black. It was like a box.
Yeah, it's going to be but I thought that was again, I think he's already a bigger star in WWE than he ever was in AEW, and he hasn't even wrestled a match. His name is going to be Lexus King. He talked about how he's not carrying on his father's name. He doesn't want anything to do with his father. His father passed away when he was 4. He never knew him. So he's going to go, honor the people that the real father that raised him, and his name is going to be Lexus King. And so I'm excited to see what they do with him.
I didn't like that, but yeah. I do like carrying the name. I know you don't want it like Ava Rain. You don't want to be like Ava Johnson or whatever she was.
Right. Yeah.
But I still, he's like literally like my son to me. They're like identical twins. So I don't.
Yeah,
I
he does look just like him. Yeah.
And I never noticed as much until I saw him on the screen with him, like going back and forth, how identical they look. But I also like that Jade Cargill kept her name. Like, keep the names. I don't know. We already talked about this a couple episodes ago, that I hate switching names all the time. Just keep the name.
Yeah.
Keep the name. Why not?
And it was a huge missed opportunity too, to have, because Jade Cargill's in WWE. She's said this in interviews because of Cody Rhodes. You had both of them on NXT together. Why not have Cody Rhodes introduce her? Why not have Cody Rhodes
his big announcement?
Have a backstage segment with her or something. But I thought that was a missed opportunity, especially when you're counter programming with what AEW is doing. Like, really stick.
And I want us to bookmark this, because we can talk about this tomorrow. Because I want to talk about, when we talk about the state of AEW and everything else, about how we're utilizing talent to go back and forth. So
yeah, for sure.
All right, what do you like, or what do you want to talk? What do you want to talk about?
Oh, so for me, I kind of talked about it already. The Lexus King thing, I enjoyed that for the NXT, and then I agree completely with you about the randomness. It just made no sense. Asuka should not have beaten Roxanne Perez.
No.
Why wasn't the Ilya Dragunov Dominic Mysterio match announced ahead of time? Say that, hey, we're putting our top prize on this brand on the line. Instead, it was a random match against Dominic Mysterio. The booking of that made no sense. It was just, other than like one or two segments, everything featured somebody from the main roster or a legend of some sort. So
yeah,
I don't know. I just didn't think it was a good way to use the developmental talent.
I agree. And once again, I enjoyed the show. I had fun watching.
Yeah, it was a solid show.
I'm talking about the future. It needed to be built, not just to beat AEW and embarrass them for one night. It should have been to build the NXT brand in the future, not just for one night. I always plan for the future. But I got to defend the Dirty Dom thing a little bit, because they did it at the opening. And unlike a certain TikToker who came out and said Dominic, isn't enhancing the NXT North American Championship, and he isn't enhancing the NXT brand by being on it, ratings went up when he got on there, and then they went up a little bit more once Becky Lynch went there as well. So he did enhance this product. He isn't enhancing that belt, and I think that's why they put him in the main event. I think they were thinking, hey, let's start off the show and let's get people a little bit more involved, and people will tune in if Dom is fighting for the NXT championship.
Yeah, he draws. Yeah.
Why? Because he draws. People are going to stay tuned to see if he gets his butt kicked, which they want, and stay tuned to see if Judgment Day is going to find a way to let him win the belt. So they tuned in. So I think that helped the ratings as well. So that's why they gave Dirty Dom that title shot. So
yeah, it made sense. It made sense. I just didn't like the, I don't know, Cody Rhodes being the GM. He should have been like, hey, you guys have been tormenting me, so I'm going to torment you. So put your North American Championship on the line. And Judgment Day's banned from ringside. And if mommy interferes, then she's stripped of her like something. But no, it was just, LA Knight's going to be the ref. And that was it.
Oh, and Jey Uso's the ref. My guy who just helped beat the Judgment Day, not LA Knight. Like, I don't know. Like, we can talk about LA Knight all day. I told you LA Knight was getting ruined, dude. I'm telling you, you can't let a guy get organically. Just ask Stone Cold Steve Austin. They started doing him wrong after his whole reign, and he started fading down. You can't just you can't turn people. Remember when he Kurt Angle and he was like that weird, and that's when he did the what? People stopped digging him.
Singing to Vince McMahon.
Yeah, you got to be the rattlesnake, man. You got to let LA Knight cook as he is, and being teamed up with John Cena and now being the stupid, goofy dude now who's like catering to fans is not what we need from LA Knight. All right, we did it. You ready?
Yes,
so
sir.
That was it. Like I said, tomorrow we're going to tune in to AEW where we talk about their product and about the whole wars between the two and what we thought. So now it is time for Unpopular Opinion. And this is where we give a couple takes each. We talk about it on what we think is good or bad and what people is, which is against the grain. So people probably think this is good, but we're not thinking that, or people think it's bad and we think it's good. So that is our unpopular opinion. As always, the man with the plan, the honorary dude, Shooting Star Press will start us off. Let's go. We never predetermined this, so we don't predetermine, but we don't rehearse. So
yeah, we're not like WWE. We don't plan this. But I don't know. This might actually be a popular opinion, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. But I'm going to say that I think right now it's time to turn my man, Sami Zayn. Time to turn him to a heel. He is better as a heel. He is more effective as a heel. And right now, the story is there for the taking. Turn him heel. Have him be the one to turn on Kevin Owens, because Kevin Owens has not supported him. Kevin Owens has not had his back. Even on Raw this week, Sami Zayn was like, yeah, it's with mixed emotions that you guys are holding those tag team titles. And Kevin Owens was like, I don't have mixed emotions about anything. He's constantly disagreeing with him. He's constantly blowing up about Sami's time in the bloodline. And so have Sami, because Kevin Owens never really fully embraced him, never really fully trusted him. Have Sami turn on Kevin Owens, and then have Sami slowly turn on Cody Rhodes, and then have Sami Zayn turn on Jey Uso as well, because we never got Jey versus Sami during the whole bloodline thing. And the Cody and Jey holding the tag titles should make Sami Zayn sick to his stomach. He could look at that and say, it should be me. It shouldn't be with him. We were like this. You guys are just thrown together randomly. I was your brother in the bloodline. I was your friend, and you turned your back on me to join him. Take out Cody Rhodes. Take out Jey Uso. Like I said, we never got Cody versus Jey, Jey versus Sami during the whole bloodline thing. We got KO and Sami versus Jimmy and Jey at WrestleMania, but we never got a one-on-one match between those two. And I felt like that should have been the payoff more than the tag team titles. And I think right now that story is there for the taking, that Sami Zayn should be the one to turn heel and turn on Kevin Owens. They lost their tag team titles, their match on Raw to Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. So what are they going? What's next for them? There's really no plan for them. So have Sami turn heel. He's better as a heel. He's more effective. Take out Kevin Owens. Take out Cody Rhodes, and then eventually have it lead to a match with Jey Uso.
All right. I'm going to say that this is an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to say that I love it. And I'm going to one-up you. I don't think he should just turn heel. I think this should go along with my theory that if Jey turning on Cody, and I think this will unite Jey and Sami as heels again.
Good. Yeah,
and they don't have to be with the bloodline. But turning them and letting them take over the world and maybe going against Cody and so on. And that gives Cody that extra, I don't know, to win the title if he does. But yeah, so I agree. I like it. I think it's hot, and I'm really over Sami and KO. So let's move on from them. They could be homies, but I'm over the whole tag team, and there's no point to them anymore. Just like there was no point for them to have a shot at Raw, but it is what it is. All right. Are you ready?
Yes,
This
sir.
is going to be super unpopular. All right. My unpopular opinion with the booking of Cody Rhodes since WrestleMania, I want to say that Cody Rhodes is not that guy anymore. I don't think he is who he was. I think WWE has ruined him with the booking. I think this is continuing on with that booking, with what they're doing with him. And I do not think Cody Rhodes is that guy anymore. And I think if he does win at WrestleMania 40, it's going to fall flat. That's my unpopular opinion.
I have never thought Cody Rhodes was that guy. The best version of Cody Rhodes is the one when the heel Cody that had to put the masks and the bags over everybody. That was my favorite version of Cody Rhodes, and that was so far removed from this version of Cody that we have. And I don't think Cody's that guy. I really don't. I thought the decision at WrestleMania for Roman to win, albeit controversial, was the right decision from Triple H and the booking team, because again, people are doing it with Seth Rollins. Everybody wanted Seth to win that title. They wanted him to win the title. They wanted him to win it. And now he's won it. And now they're saying, okay, now he's got to drop it. Who's he going to drop it to? Who's he going to drop it to? Who's he going to drop it to? Because again, I think people enjoyed the chase more so than the actual championship reign. And I think they like the idea of Cody dethroning Roman. But yeah, I don't think Cody's that guy. I don't think he's.
Yeah.
I think he can talk the talk, sure, but I think the fans are going to turn on him. I really do.
Yeah, I think they already are. And I think that I got to say, I did like mass dashing Cody Rhodes. That was when he's putting the bags on. I did.
Yeah,
but
that was my favorite.
I do think AEW American Nightmare Cody Rhodes is the best version. And I thought he was that dude. He was that anti-hero. He was doing his dang thing. And that's what he brought over to WWE. And I think since Mania, he's become John Cena. And I just think it's hurt him. So, all right.
I agree.
All right. What's your number dose?
My other one is that I think Gunther should win the 2024 Men's Royal Rumble. And I know that's not the unpopular part, but I think that whoever he faces, if it's him versus Roman at Mania or him versus Seth Rollins at Mania, it should be for both the IC title and the World Heavyweight or Undisputed Championship.
Oh, you're going Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior WrestleMania 6. You know
Why?
what? I like that.
Especially if it's Gunther versus Roman. You've had 2 long championship reigns. One of them's got to end. So who's it going to be? Who's going to have the longer of the reign? You know, you're going to have Gunther with his year-long IC title reign, or Roman with his 1,000+ days as champion. Like, put them head to head. Let's do it.
I like that a lot. I think Roman's done at Mania. I think I've stated this many times. I think night 1 is going to be headlined by Roman versus The Rock, where they will fight for who is the tribal chief, which The Rock will win. I think Roman will then go to night 2 and lose to Cody for the title. I think it's still going to happen.
Yippee.
And then he will disappear into whatever land and then be like Brock Lesnar, where he appears when he needs to, kind of like what he's doing now, just not as a champ. So I do like Gunther versus Seth for both belts, because that'll make that title match kind of have a little bit more importance to kind of keep up with Roman's matches headlining. And wow, that'll be good in Philadelphia. I'm all for it, man. Yes, please sign me up. I guess me almost excited as I am for MJF versus Jay White at
that's going to be a banger too.
That we're going to live. So I would love to see it. So yeah, I'm all for it. All right. I got 2 here. All right. I'm going to do this. My unpopular opinion. Dirty Dom needs to be the NXT champ by the Royal Rumble. I know that we got all these other guys coming in that gets dragging off some time to beat, what's his face and Baron Corbin again, and maybe Carmelo one more times, maybe Trick Williams. But I think Dirty Dom needs to be the NXT champ by Royal Rumble. I think he deserves it. I think that's a good title for him to win. I think that'll give him a little bit more of a push. I think it'll make Judgment Day look a little bit better by having a World Heavyweight Championship. Maybe by that time, Priest will be the champion if we don't have Seth Rollins, because, Gunther can still beat Priest title for title too at Mania. So I do think it, but yes, my unpopular opinion, I think Dirty Dom, he can have both if he wants, but I'll just take one. I think he's going to lose to Trick Williams, that North American, and then I think he should win the NXT heavyweight gold.
I love that. Rumble. Yeah, I love that idea. I think he deserves it. It would fans aren't going to like it. They're not going to like it at all, even though they're the ones that say he needs to go to NXT. Then he goes to NXT, and they're like, oh, he shouldn't have the title in NXT. Makes no sense, but. I'm all for it. Dom, he draws, as we talked about with our NXT breakdown, that he's a draw. He, even before all this randomness on this episode of NXT, the ratings have been great when Dominic Mysterio has been on NXT. And so make him the face of your brand. He deserves it. He's earned it. He's one of the most over heels in the industry. He's getting booed out of the building. So yeah, I'm all on board the Dom bandwagon. Dom for NXT.
And he's a package with Rhea, so you get Rhea as well, which makes it even more important. So, yes, sir. All right. That's it. That's our episode of WWE. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. B-roll, he is a hardened criminal. He's even harder when he's with Rhea, but he is a criminal nonetheless. And yes, sir. So, tune in tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in to WWE. We got more to talk about. This is like a continuation week for the first time. We will continue all this going into AEW's products, and our segment will be what we think about the Tuesday Night War and the state of AEW, and Tony Khan and his, I'm hoping, drunken tweets. I don't know what's going on with him right now.
What he's doing right now.
But maybe he just has no idea what he's doing, and just everything going on in AEW. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for continuing to subscribe. We're still close to 500. I want to do 500, but I want to go beyond. Let's get to a G. We're going to be posting TikToks a lot more. We now have a TikTok, which I'll let Shooting Star talk about. That, as always, I'm Mr. MWO, the dude of Wrestle Talk. And with me is that man, the honorary dude,
Mr. Shooting Star Press. Like he said, we're on TikTok now at Two Dudes with Attitudes. So go follow.
We got to get that up there.
Yeah, I'll add that. But yeah, we're on TikTok. So go follow us there. We got to get to 1,000 followers, but I want more than that. We're starting to post some stuff on there, and go like us and review us and rate us and all that fun stuff on Apple and Spotify and anywhere you get your podcasts, because we think we're pretty good, but we want to hear from y'all. And we also have an email, 2dudeswithattitudespodcast@gmail.com. So hit us up, let us know your thoughts, and let us know if you agree with any of our unpopular opinions. Let us know if you agree with any of our takes about NXT, Raw, or SmackDown, or even Fastlane. Hit us up. We want to hear from you.
Yes, sir. Yes, thank you. Christian Cage versus Dom. Dom wins. Two Dudes Attitudes. Wolfpack. We out. Let's go.
Two dudes with attitudes. Let's go. Welcome to the pod every Wednesday. Back to represent. Two dudes with attitudes. Yeah, here comes the main event. Every week it's the dudes from the east and the west.